Hello, World of Tank Blitzers. It's Littlefinger. Hey, gonna be doing a full tank review here on the Super Hellcat. Yes, I mentioned last Friday during the store review that I would get this review out. The Hellcat is a tank that we all really enjoyed as we grinded our way up on the American tank destroyer line there. And so, yeah, I think a lot of you probably are interested in the Super Hellcat, which jumps up a tier to tier 7. And we'll talk about that in the setup here in a second. Just want to go through and show you, yes, that this tank is still for sale. Can't wait to do the review on Friday. There's a lot of tanks. But anyway, only 6 days left, 6,000 gold just for the tank by itself. You can get it in a bundle with the T28 concept. The thing I do like about this, yes, they are both tier 7 TDs, but they have both very different play styles. You're also going to get 5x bonuses, all of the 9 equipment and slots unlocked, and you're going to get the premium camos as well. So really not a bad little deal, especially if you're credit poor, to get two kind of interesting tanks. Now, 6,000, I'm not sure if the tank by itself is really quite worth it, and I'll get to why here in just a second. All right, guys, so here's blitzstars.com using the tank compare. And yes, to go through this initially, we're going to put the tier 7 Super Hellcat up against the tier 6 Hellcat. And what you will quickly see is a lot of the similarities here. 225 average damage. Pen goes up just a little bit, 4%, 182 versus 175. Still 90 caliber gun on both tanks. And here's the problem I have with this being an up tier tank. Your aim times 1.7 goes up. Your dispersion 0.326 gets worse as well. Your gun depression gets worse as well. So there's not a lot of things improving on this tank, and it's going up a tier. So keep in mind, you're going to be facing those tier 8 heavy tanks. Yes, your hit points go from 800 to 1100, and that is very much needed. I would expect credit code to come in around the 150% mark, similar to the T28. And as you can see, the armor here is basically just the same. So we're going to drop this guy out and we're going to compare it to the rest of the tier 7 tank destroyers. The benefit to the Hellcat is, yes, you have a fully rotational turret, whereas most of these other tanks don't. Challenger and T25 do. And so that makes it a little bit of a difficult comparison because it is nice to have a fully rotational turret, but it is really slow, guys. So if we look at these numbers, our damage per minute number is still pretty low compared to most of the tanks, in the range of where some of these other tanks like the T25 and the T28 are lower because they have more armor. So you don't have much armor and you don't have great damage per minute numbers. And when we look here at your dispersion, it is one of the worst. T25, like I said, has good armor. T28, yeah, that's the worst dispersion here. But you're up close fighting with this tank because of its armor. You're not trying to snipe, which you kind of need to do in this tank. You know, granted, the upside to the tank is a 65 kilometers per hour. So I find the best way to play the tank really is get yourself into a position on whatever map you enter into that you think you're going to be able to stay fairly far back and still get shots in. If that doesn't work, then you need to use your speed and relocate to other spots. You really cannot play this on the front line, and it's difficult as a peek-a-boom tank because of the turret, very slow turret maneuverability there. So I just wanted to pop back in here and go through my setup. Fairly standard repair kit, multi-purpose, and adrenaline. Running the case of cola, the improved fuel, and the bottle of cola. We've got 28, 6, and a 6. You might want to touch this one up a little bit and get a few more APCR in there just because of the lack of pen. And what is going to surprise you, yes, I said the tank has lack of pen, and I played it first with calibrated shells, and I still couldn't pen a lot of those tier 8 heavies from the front, partly because of the dispersion and partly because of the lack of pen. And so I said, if I'm going to have to shoot my APCR anyway, why not just get the gun rammer and we should be fine here with the APCR there at 245-ish. So that was a decision I made most of the way through playing a lot of these battles, and I found it to be a little bit better getting that damage per minute number up. I'm running defense system, camouflage net. Again, supercharge, I find this really important. Get the speed of that shell up so that you can hit those long distance shots on tanks on the move. Improved assembly, engine accelerator, refined gun, trying to get that dispersion. Again, we're not shooting on the move, so the vertical stabilizer doesn't do us any good. Enhanced tracks and consumable delivery system. Alright guys, here is the first match that I am going to show you. You can see we are top tier Hellas here, and got in a bit of a Supremacy rut here. I think I had it accidentally turned on, but anyway, can create for an interesting game nonetheless. As you can see, we've got a couple heavies going up to A. Our mediums looks like they're headed over to C. Couple tank destroyers beside me. I'm going to take kind of a middle position here and try to get some early spots, but keep in mind this tank does not have the greatest view range. You are a tank destroyer after all, not a spotting light tank, and sometimes, you know, the speed of this tank can get you into trouble, so keep that in mind. But our guys have pushed up over the hill here at C, so I'm realizing that the coast is probably pretty clear. There's a late incoming Hellcat there, and he is just going to get lit up. So again, go ahead and push forward with the flank maneuver here. We've got the Steyr. Gonna get a second shot into him, and yeah, he puts a nice shot in there. Didn't expect him to be able to hit that. But anyway, we're going to show you here what the gun depression looks like. We're going to get up on this hill, up over the ridge here, get a shot in on him. And I know I need a little bit, 250 is a little bit high, so I switch over to HE. And yeah, if I'd have been smart enough, obviously I would have switched back to AP, and that's one of the things that bothers me the most about this game, is when an HE shot hits the gun barrel and does 0 damage. If anything else, that gun should be broken and not be able to shoot. But anyway, we've done a good job here with the flank. We've conserved quite a bit of our hit points, and we've got... Their team looks like they have pushed on through. It's 4-on-4. So, obviously here, what you love about this tank is this mobility. 60+ kilometers per hour allows you to really get into and out of problems, and we'll show you that here coming up in a second. So, trying to push the Cheeto out here, was hoping for a little bit more help from the Jagdpanzer. And so I've overextended, and that Lupus is going to put a huge shot into me. That's going to leave me as a one-shot. But as you can see, 2 caps to 1, we are up cap points. So I don't want to overextend and go down to that Lupus. So again, we're going to put this tank's mobility to use. Yeah, we're leaving that Jagdpanzer behind. The Lupus is a little bit distracted. It looks like we can take our shot and get behind this hard cover. And, you know, now it's 3-on-2. We're at 900 cap points. So, yeah, quite honestly, the strategy here is just don't die. Let's not go backwards with our cap points. But I'm pretty sure that the Lupus is going to take down one of the tanks. And then I realized that the Tiger has pretty good speed and is able to get up there to C. So slowing down our cap points. So 2v2, that Tiger was full health. I don't want to take him on. And the Lupus has taken out our other ally. So I'm thinking he has to be going up to A. All I'm doing here is protecting A. And then, you know, when he doesn't pull up here, as we take a little peek, I realize maybe he's coming back up, so we're just going to back up here, and we're going to win this one on cap points. Yes, nothing heroic, but surviving and winning on cap points there with 2,600 damage. And I felt like that game really showed you the versatility of the tank and the ability to get around, you know, a decently sized map. As yeah, we did twice the damage of the Panther there. The Lupus had a good game, and we're going to see him later on as well. Alright guys, so here we've got Oasis Palms, and we are bottom tier here. And as you remember from the intro, I did talk about the fact that this thing does suffer a little bit with pen, and for a tank that you probably want to be sniping in, the dispersion isn't great either. So I'm going to just wait here and see kind of where my team settles out with, again, another Supremacy battle. You know, you can get teams that that often split quite a bit. The Shark is a heavy going over to C. And we probably should have been ready for that lightweight there to come into view. And here we're going to see the issues with the dispersion on this gun. You know, we've got this guy lined up, and these shots are falling short. And when we move it up a little bit, yeah, of course, it's going to go over the top. Not that I was expecting to pen that. The 047 has a fairly strong turret, but you never know. Sometimes you can get lucky, so we've taken quite a few shots and struck out so far. But now looking at the way that this map is going, I've got a heavy one-on-one over at A, and they only have a couple guys spotted with all of my guys on the other side of the map. So that leads me to believe that the rest of their team is in town. So I don't want to get caught out, especially not with this tank with its fairly low damage per minute number. So we're going to come on through the dunes here. We've got a shot on the 047. We really have to lead that, and you'll see that throughout this game. We take that shot and push on back around somewhere where we can get some nice hard cover. Cannot pen the Ferdinand, so we're switched over to APCR, and that's the thing about this tank. Yep, good thing it's premium, and you're going to make a little bit more money in the tank itself. If this was a regular tech tree tank, you know, it's tough to make credits when you're shooting premium ammo these days. And here we go with the AMX AC. Just going just a touch low there. So again, the accuracy on the tank not the greatest. We are aiming for the side of this AMX. The front of that tank, just too much armor for us to pen. And this battle here gives you a great idea of what this tank is like. Sniping for a distance. I mean, look how much I have to lead this 047. That shot hit the back of the tank. A 5-on-2. We've got 2 caps to their 1. Things are looking pretty strong. So the town, sitting in town and giving up the dune position on this map. You know, being able to get hull down back here is such an advantage on this map, and you can see we are just collecting damage here and really not having to do too much. I think that's pretty much going to wrap the game here. I'll go ahead and fast forward it, as those guys are going to go down fairly quickly. I really just sat back there and sniped. And if that's the kind of tank that you like, you know, you can do that in this tank. And, you know, we come in second in damage here as a bottom tier tank. Alright guys, Canal as bottom tier. Again, got that Supremacy locked in. Do apologize for that, but anyway, you know where we're going to head. We've got quite a few heavy on heavies here, so I expect most of the fighting to take place between A and B. And what I love about this tank is its ability here to quickly get into firing position, right? And up we come, using our speed to get up to spot here. And look at this. These guys are trying to cross into A. And it is such a difficult ask, really. You are exposed this whole way across. And look at that. We've gotten 3 shots in. And we'll just take one more for good luck there. That does not go. I am going to pull back off of the hill because I don't have anybody to the left of me. So they can come around the corner there and potentially spot me up. And the last thing we want to do is get caught on top of the hill here. But the AMX is coming around the corner and should slow them down. So using that opportunity here to crest back up the hill, you can see I did pull back down just to make sure that I wasn't going to get spotted. We track and don't do any damage, and then we shoot after the tank has already been destroyed. So frustrating, especially when you're doing just over 200 damage per shot. Got to get a lot of shots in to get the damage up on this tank. They've got 3 guys now trapped over at A. We have 2 guys at D. We're gonna even up the cap here. And that AMX is pushing around. Annihilator stuck behind the building. I'm kind of getting antsy to get some more shots in. Annihilator here is going to come around, give me one more shot. We get that one to land. And I'm thinking, you know what, I'm going to have to move in to get shots on the T-32. But he comes around. And look at that. We've given up our great position. But why not put one more into him? There's only 3 tanks left. I've got a full tank of hit points. So we're going to go in here and then trade some hit points for some damage. And that's what you can do with this tank and why I like it. Quickly up to speed here. Imagine if you were in an AT or some other tank destroyer with half this speed. You'd still be cutting through the middle there. Meanwhile, we're taking away the damage from that AMX and getting the kill. Coming over 2,000 damage there. A fairly straightforward battle. But that's enough to put us 3rd in damage there. And let's see, money-wise, puts us right at 81,000 credits for a Tier 7 tank destroyer. Alright guys, so here we are. Top tier. And I told you we would see that Lupus again. This was consecutive games. He had a very strong game. The one that we capped out there. And so I decided, you know what? I'm going to go wherever he goes and support him. I am not a big fan of going right on this map. It is very open. And I did play a game with this tank in the middle of the map there at B. That was somewhat successful. But it's just very difficult with this tank because just the lack of armor. So just helping him get into a more offensive position here. Don't want to push him too far. But gave him a little bit of a speed boost. And you can see on the mini-map, we have nobody spotting up the middle for us. So this is going to be a difficult engagement without having those spots. So was hoping here that the Gravedigger would push on in on the Lupus and we get spotted. And I don't want to be taking shots from the right there. So I want to hide from the Gravedigger and hopefully let him exchange fire with the Lupus and I can just chip in. But we're getting antsy. And I'm thinking I'm going to be coming around the backside here and nope. Yeah, we are not penning that, and that means that he's going to push around this way. And of course the Lupus has gone the other way. We just don't shoot low enough on that one, and yeah, he's going to unload the rest of that clip on us. We managed to avoid 2 of them there, and we get the kill shot. So we took a couple shots. Gravedigger's not too happy. And that Lupus ends up with full health, but look at this. Whew, not paying attention. We take a huge shot from that SU. So this changes my gameplay completely. I am no longer going to be aggressive and try to seek out shots, so I'm going to have to wait and let them come to me. So we're going to drive to places that we know that we have full cover. And getting spotted there kind of changes my plan up a little bit. This SU, he's hunting me down. Come on, Lupus, finish him off for me. And there we go. Lupus to the rescue. Challenger was last seen in their spawn corner, so I'm going to stay out of that area for now and see if we can't get some shots down the middle here. It's 3 versus 3. So it's a little bit different of a game here. You know, this is definitely more of a passive sniping instead of more of an active sniping. I've got to just now wait for my teammates. And you can see there, that is all the way across the map, getting a nice shot in there. So we'll slowly dwindle these guys down. Kind of expected the Bulldog to pull through here through the middle. So I was being extra cautious. But I think he's turned and gone back on the other side of the middle.
Enemy armor is damaged.
So this game was a little bit more on the boring side, I will say that. But it shows you just a, you know, a different mindset on how to play the tank. And some of the pluses and minuses on this gun. You know, especially trying to anticipate where someone's going to be because they're halfway across the map. Finally, we get the shot in there. And there's that spark. And because we've been unspotted this entire time, he is not expecting that. And the team goes on to win it. So, you know, overall, it's not a bad tank. That comes away with just almost 60,000 in credits there. Much lower in damage. We did manage to be top of the team, though. But again, because of the downfall, I think, of the lack of pen and the dispersion, I think the tier 6 Hellcat's better, unless, of course, you just want a premium tank, you know, to make some credits and have a little bit of fun. So with that, guys, hope you've got your decision made on whether or not to purchase this tank. And, of course, have fun out there. Stay safe, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger, out.